Now, there's three things in this world that I love. One, financial freedom. Two, the small dimples right above a girl's butt. And three, big block Mopars, baby. Woo! There goes a sight from guess what today is? Guess what today is? We're gonna be working on the Rams 440. This here came out of a 1960 something Chrysler Newport. I love those cars, but I love the 440s that come in them. So it's a, you know, it's a low compression 440, whatever. Still a 440. So only thing we have done to this thing is pull the spark plugs out, drench the cylinders in WD-40, and we pour diesel down the carburetor, hoping to unstick it. It's been sitting for like 20 years. It's not unstuck. So, we gotta pull the heads off. So, we're gonna do that. But this thing is fully dressed. Still haven't got my chip tooth fixed. Can't go anywhere to February 15th. But, we're gonna get busy. We gotta pull off all these lines, the AC compressor, the alternator, power steering pump, all that good stuff. And like I said, get the heads off. And then hopefully we can unfreeze those rings, because I really don't want to get too far into this. We picked this whole thing up from the entire thing, carburetor to oil pan to the end of the tail shaft, for $400. About what they go for nowadays, about $400. Supposed to be, you know, running, driving. It was running when parked. So Dad's cold. He's real cold, and this thing's so cold it's froze. So less babbling, let's get to work.
Yeah, make all the demons quiet. Yeah, we were built to thrive. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night? Yeah, make all the demons quiet. Yeah, we were built to thrive. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan.
As you might have seen in the time lapse, we had two different power tools. One, we had the Milwaukee like 1/2 inch impact, the big boy. It died. I was smart enough though. I brought my Ryobi cordless ratchet. It died. Didn't bring another battery. So, and we just ran out of propane for the heater. So it's going. So, I'm doing this all by hand now. I must be missing a bolt on the AC compressor somewhere. So I got to try to find that, and then I'm going to knock that off. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait a little bit. Since it's cold in here and we don't have heat, I think now I'm going to wait for that Milwaukee to charge up. It's on the fast charger. It takes about an hour. Once that charges up, I'm going to get back at it. Take me a quick little break. It ain't been long. It's been like, I don't know, 25 minutes. I got the carburetor off, the alternator, power steering, almost the entire front drive minus the AC compressor. So it's going pretty good. Yeah, the old smog motors, man, they're not the great. So while I love a big block Mopar, there is just, you got all the cubic inches, right? The thing that sucks really bad about a big block Mopar is the heads. Now, if you notice in our videos, like my 500's got Indy heads. My dad's got a set of Indy heads that's probably going on the 470 that's in the Savoy. pulling those Edelbrocks off, and they're probably going on the satellite. The ones on satellite are 915 heads, but they're as worked as you can get them. They're beyond port matched almost. You know, that they flow really good for a cast iron head. They've been decked, so you know it's got a nice small chamber. I think it's right around 78, 79, somewhere around there. But that's where all the power is in the 440. I think this thing's rated for 375 horsepower. You know, stock. But once you put like a small cam in it, you open up the heads a little bit. You know, put a good induction system with like a carburetor or something. It'll probably make 450 horsepower, and that's all we need for the truck, really. But there's going to be a surprise. Exhaust manifolds, I'm keeping those. Well, for now, the fender well headers that came out the duster, I'm going to try to use them on the truck. I think they'll work, but we're going to end up keeping those. If you ever seen Richard Holdner's Big Bang, that's a great series. It's basically where he turbos everything and see how much power they make before they blow up. Well, they did a RV 440. It never blew up. It only made like 700 something horsepower, but it never blew up, and it was running perfectly. So if we can turbo this thing to make 600 horsepower. We're not using a transmission. The TCI 727 that came out of the duster is going to go behind this thing. Right now it's going to have like a 4500 stall. Eventually we'll switch that to like a 2800 to 3200, somewhere around there when we put the turbo on it. But anyway, I'm about to get back at work, figure out this AC compressor. And once I got all that stuff going and we start pulling off like intake stuff, I'll put you back on a time lapse. So yeah. I got it. Busting my dang knuckle. Well, kind of sort of my knuckle. Little boat right here up underneath it. It don't matter, I got it. So back to pulling this apart.
It's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it.
What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough.
Alright guys, we did it. We did it. I don't know if you can read that. Last three numbers there, 906. It's got 906 heads, so that's good. Turns out this is out of an Imperial, not a New Yorker. According to the guy that actually bought it. Yeah. So that's a really good thing. All we're doing today is going to try to get this thing to where we can pour diesel on the pistons, let the piston rings free up, and try to spin this mother jugger over. Like I said, the plan, a lot of dirt just went in that distributor hole. So, I mean, we got to pull the valley cover anyway. But the plan is get it freed up. We're going to put it on an engine stand once we have one available. The motor in the duster is going to go in soon. But, yeah, we got to get this knocked out, get this freed up, put it on the engine stand, turn it over. I'm going to check a bearing or two, nothing serious. And if it looks good, throwing this thing back together. Probably put a small cam in it, like a 509. It's about as big, 515, 520, somewhere around there is about as big as you can run with, piston to valve clearancing issues. We don't want those to touch. So that's good. I got to take out the dipstick, and then that exhaust manifold will come off. I got to pull that valve cover, rockers, push rods, valley pan, head bolts, and then we're done. So I ain't gonna throw you back up on time lapse. We'll just pick back up whenever this turns into this. So this cylinder does have a little bit of rust in it. I think those rings will probably clean it up, honestly. But however, Common Paws is still frozen, which I mean, I know it will. I need to, I'm gonna pour some diesel directly in the cylinders. You see, so like this cylinder got diesel, this one did not, right? So any that the valves were closed, it didn't get any diesel in it. So I got a kerosene jug right there. It's full of diesel. I'm gonna dump it in all the cylinders. We're gonna let it sit basically overnight, and then it should free up. My dad's shop is always a mess, but I made a big mess today, so I'm gonna try to clean all this up. I'm gonna stuff all this stock stuff underneath a shelf somewhere that he won't find it, you know, for years and years and years. Anyway, I'm gonna try to clean this up a little bit. It's not sealed up very good. This building isn't very good, but you know, we use it for storage, so it's all right. But anyway, so let's get some diesel poured in there, and we'll start cleaning up. All right, so all the cylinders have been dieseled. Now, if you're asking yourself why diesel, diesel is very corrosive, abrasive. It's very tough. So it's going to sit on the reason the motors get stuck is the rings on the pistons rust to the inside of the chamber or of the cylinders. So that's what's happened here. Hasn't spun a bearing or anything like that. This car was wrecked. It was running. They drove it in the shop, took the motor and transmission out, crushed the car 20 some years ago. I think he said like 80. It was over 30 years ago, because I think he said 88, something like that. Anyway, so the rings start to rust. They come out, rust to the walls, and they sit there. So we poured diesel on it, let it sit overnight, let that diesel kind of work through. Tomorrow when I get off work, we'll come over, and I should be able to turn this bad boy over. But that's going to wrap it up here. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. I'm going to call this the Holy Grail if you made it this far. It's because we found the 906 heads, man. Some people want the 906, some people want the 915s. 915s got a little bit more compression, but I think the 906s flow a little more. I don't know, I could be wrong. But yeah, it's a good find. It's going to be a good motor, we hope. If nothing else, hey, the 30 over stuff that we have, we send this to the machine shop. We'll give it a quick 30 over right quick and throw it back together. It is a factory forged crank. You can tell that because it's got this small balancer on it. Like, it's thin. If it's a thick balancer, then it's a cast crank. Thin balancer is a forged crank factory. So, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.